What's going on YouTube? It is Brendan from Market Makers, your home for Wyckoff and advanced pattern trading TA. Guys, we're coming up on our 1-year anniversary in June. We have over 18,000 subs, want to get it to 20,000. So if you like these videos and you have not subscribed, please do so and please smash the like button. And of course, I will answer your comments and questions as always after the video. So let's talk about what happened this past week. A lot of big moves happened in the equity space, that's the stock market, and in crypto as well. In the crypto space, we're still tracking in our ascending channel, as you can see. Now, it does appear to me that this 48,266 may end up being the top of our corrective wave here, our A, our B, and our C wave, because we have a lot of resistance above us. I need to show you the NASDAQ. What happened in the tech space, particularly with the NASDAQ and the Russell, they had the third strongest bear market rally in stock market history, 18% on the NASDAQ. Now, remember, I was telling you guys this weeks ago. This was a volume divergence retail rally. We shorted up here at the top in the room. And guys, by the way, you can come trade with us, and caught this 13% dissension. We've given up 13% of this 18% move. Now, what's vitally important for the crypto space and Bitcoin is we hold these March lows. If you lose these March lows, I promise you it doesn't matter about bullish accumulation in Bitcoin. The crypto market will come down. And this candle looks like a freight train. We need to hope this holds at the 0.5 of 13,262 or the 618 at 12,997. If it does not and it comes down, it will pull the crypto market down as well, because the NASDAQ will be moving to new lows. Stocks were getting murdered. Netflix got murdered. Netflix was a $600+ stock last year. It is now 200 and change, okay? Tech is getting absolutely crushed. You can see this in the Russell as well. Russell's selling off hard. Two big bearish engulfing candles coming down to the bottom of the Wyckoff range. There's your ceiling. The Russell may end up coming back down to the 1 fib down here at 1884. Again, this low is from February, but the Russell needs to hold. And because Bitcoin, when you look on the daily, still has its accumulation structure for bullish accumulation. And for this to hold, we have our base in Wyckoff here. We have our base, we have our ceiling, and then we have our mini Coff. We have our mini Coff base and ceiling. Even though those indexes sold off hard, Bitcoin did get up above the 0.5, above 42.7, and it did fall back down, but it's still in our mini Coff trading range. Guys, we need to talk about what's happening in the market, because there's a couple of big things happening. The FOMC members, the Fed members, have been going out talking about how they're going to front load rate hikes. That means they're putting these bigger rate hikes in, and it's going to be 0.5 in the first week of May. They're putting the bigger rate hikes in because they're so serious about inflation. Now, I mean, that's a joke considering that the CPI print is 8.5%. And in real terms, you're looking at between 18 and 20% inflation. If you buy groceries or get gas, you're well aware of that, okay? But they want to come off like they're being very strong. And when they do that, I anticipate May, we're going to have that 0.5 rate hike, probably followed by another 0.5 rate hike in June. And who knows, if that CPI print comes even hotter, they've already had Bullard out there saying 0.75 is not off the table. These markets, I think what's going to happen in the market cycle here is this is going to be very bearish until September, okay, until the fall. Now, the markets tend to pivot in March and September. It's part of the Gann calendar as well. Just a couple of examples. The dot-com crash started in March. In September, it picked up steam. Okay, the bottom of the great financial crisis happened in 2009 and March. March and September tend to be key pivots. And on top of that, to complicate things further, we have elections this year in the U.S. in November. The party that is in power is well behind in the polls, and they're going to have to be putting pressure on the Fed because they don't want to be facing a recession, which all the large banks and hedge funds are warning about now. A recession is 2 quarters of GDP printing negative. It's so important to learn the financial terms in the crypto space, guys, because the large operators, the market operators, they utilize these terms. They're in every single market. We are in a bear market in crypto. We are in a bear market in the NASDAQ and tech space, and in a bear market in the Russell. Actually, those 3 marketplaces I just listed are all also statistically in crashes. The NASDAQ re-entered a crash on Friday. The Russell as well entered a crash on Friday. The SPX is in a corrective market. So a crash in a bear market. A bear market market is 2 months of at least minus 20% or more. Bitcoin has been as down as low as over 50% down for a period now of over 3 months. You are in a bear market. YouTubers in this space don't understand these terms, but I'm telling you, if you don't know where you stand in the marketplace, how can you follow what the large operators are doing? Remember, the way you make money in this space is to understand what they're doing and tag along for the ride. You don't want to trade against the billion-dollar hedge funds that are trading in the space and the billion-dollar financial institutions. You trade with them. You ride the waves with them, and you don't know what they're doing if you don't understand the lingo in this space and what it means when they're saying, oh, we're in a bear market. Oh, we're in a crash. You're in a bear market in crypto. I think the next few months are going to be very bloody. I think in the meantime, you're going to have these rallies. And so what we've been talking about here on this channel, as you guys know, for over a week now, a couple of weeks, I guess, is this bullish accumulation. We have our low, we have our hot series of higher lows, and then we have our peak. We have our higher low, we have our higher peak. Again, law of three, higher low. This is the whole test. Now, our volatility is compressing. Remember, volatility is like a compressed spring. I expect if the NASDAQ and Russell can hold their March lows, and that we're going to find out probably Monday, Tuesday, if they can hold those lows, you're going to see Bitcoin come up and test. And I don't know if we'll get to the 618, but at least a 0.5, but I want to see us get to the 618 at 44K. And again, if it flips that, your real test then is at 48,266. Where you were previously rejected for a 20% move, okay? A 20% down move. Vitally important, we see those other markets hold their structure. So this is good that we have held this structure even though those markets are dumping. We're still in our mini-cough structure. We're at the base of our mini-cough. And let me show you the volatility so you guys can see exactly what I'm talking about, okay? Because this is getting super tight. Here's your volatility on the daily. This channel, just like Bollinger Bands, okay? It compresses and then it explodes and you get a movement. Now, the bias, because we are holding this bullish accumulation, is an explosion upwards. Now, we need to come up and test those key resistance levels. This is as tight as this channel has been since January. So it's been a couple of months, a few months. So this could be a nice move if we can flip resistance, and there's a ton of resistance above us, okay? You can see this. Let's go ahead and throw Ichi on here. Give you a visual representation of the resistance. We're right at the thickest part of the support cloud, which is now a resistance cloud. I mean, look at you don't have a lot of wiggle room here. So you have price beneath the cloud is literally hitting the cloud coming down, hitting the cloud coming down. Now, when you look at this, where's the thin part of the cloud? I mean, look how thin this is. Look how tiny that cloud is, okay? So just like we've been tracking previously, price wants to try to pump through these weaker spots. There's no resistance, there's no support, there's nothing there. So what you could end up having happen is we could end up going sideways, up and down here, and at some point we make some type of move. Now, volatility is already pretty compressed. It hasn't been this compressed in months, so you may start trying to see some type of move up, okay? And again, look where your 618 is, right at the top of the cloud with your 233. You guys have seen me throw the VPVR on here as well. There's just so much resistance at this level. Let's pull our candles in here going back to December 4th. There's so much resistance. You have heavy peak point of confluence resistance here, or point of control resistance from peak volume, as well as peak volume up here at the 618. Lots of resistance, as well as, if you see the confluence of indicators, if you can get through this zone, you have that pocket deficit here of volume where you could pump through it in bullish sentiment, and then you just got to flip this, and then you do have that 55K target. Now, when I say you just got to do this, I think the likelihood of that happening is very small, okay? I think we are in a bear market. These other markets are in bear markets. These other markets are in crashes. You would have to have some type of melt up really to get price really moving at that kind of velocity to move up. I think the natural movement of price here is to potentially come up to your 618, possibly probability or high probability of getting rejected and then falling back down. And even if you do flip it, you have the previous rejection here at the 48,266. Again, market segmentation, view this as like a check card. Did we flip 44? Check. What did we do at 48,266? If you flip that, then yeah, you're in a bullish structure. But with the rate hikes coming, I don't know. I don't see it. I think it is very likely that you're going to be descending between one of these 2 points. Okay, so this is what's on my radar. This is what I'm watching. You can trade the alts the same way. And by the way, guys, like I said, come check out our room if you want to trade with us. Get our trade signals. Check out BitGet if you want to trade without a VPN. No country restrictions. Totally anonymous. All those links, including marketmakers.trade, are in the video description. So this is what I expect to see happen. Let's look at a couple other things here. Let's look at our supply sell zones as well. Our Nubia strategy. And let me turn off Ichi. So we can see our supply zone is descending. It's at the 786 at 45,889. And of course, we have that intermingled here, like I keep updating you, with the 233 at the 618. This range is getting tight. Just like you see the volatility getting tight, this is just a very tight range for where price can have activity. Okay, so something's going to break. You're going to pump up, hit something key, fall back down out of the range, or you're going to pump up and break through and make a bullish structure. Again, macro markets not looking good for that. Okay, they're not looking good at all. Now in September, when we do go back, I think, to quantitative easing, when they possibly cut interest rates or stop hiking interest rates and maybe inject liquidity, depending what's happening in the marketplace. I think you're going to see some pretty vicious rallies come with that as well. So the markets are going to be extremely volatile this year. That's something to look forward to as a trader. It can also give you a big headache, and especially if you're just holding spot or trying to decide what to invest in, it can be very, very difficult to do so. Let's look at the weekly again really quickly. Couple other things I want to look at on here. So remember, I did lay out my fib time here. So I do have this May 2nd pivot date, okay? And again, my fib time started the Genesis wave back here from the virus low in March of 2020, okay? So our first fib time pivot impact will be May 2nd. That is a 7-day candle. So remember, this is a weekly time frame. So that following candle or within that week, you could see a pivot. Now, if we do end up coming up, testing that 44, 48, that pivot may be the pivot that begins the descent, or that pivot could be the pivot that begins the ascent. Again, I don't marry things as closely to time because time is so hard to predict. I really track the price action. But fib time, as you guys know that watch this channel, has been very accurate in the past. So this is laid out here. We have nothing to compare it to because this will be the first impact on the weekly time frame from the way that it's laid out. So we'll see how accurate it is and what happens. But I think what's likely to happen with the volatility compressing on the daily is we will have ascension prior, and this could be the pivot to go back down. Okay, and once we lose that channel again, that A wave is down at 23,082, and you will get there in waves. It won't be a big bar down. Okay, so this could take days, weeks to descend to, unless you start getting some massive candles like this. Okay, so we'll see what happens, guys. Really appreciate you guys taking the time on a Sunday to watch this video. Please do smash the like button, hit the subscribe button, help us out with the subs. I'll answer your questions, guys. Have a fantastic rest of the afternoon, and another video coming tomorrow. Take care, everybody.